positive association. Mr. Ford?
Thank you for that introduction, and good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
I had to get my cheat sheet here, and first of all, I want to say thank you to the leaders of this organization, the seniors. I want to say a special thank you to my wife, Diane, who told me to be nice. And thanks to Reggie Brandis, who recommended me. I thought that I'd have to come here and ask for prayers for Reggie, and I guess prayers are always in order, but I'm glad to see that she's with us today. I didn't think she could make it. This is a complicated situation, and I have to let you know that it's challenging because I'm speaking at home. I speak around the country and around the world, and the complicated thing about speaking at home is when you give a presentation outside your area and people threaten to run you out of town if you don't do a good job, you can say, frankly, I don't care. Problem is, you'll see me at the grocery store, you'll see me at the hardware, you won't see me in the yard, but you'll see me around town. So what I say here is going to follow me. Ironically, in speaking all around the world, I live not 2 miles from here, but there is a reason for that. They said something to the effect that a person's not appreciated where he or she is from, or people there know me well enough to know not to ask me to come in and speak. I don't know which it is. This morning I want to talk about connecting resources across generations. Russell Cromwell, in his book Acres of Diamonds, he talked about the resources. He talked about a man that lost time, energy, and in fact lost his life. Because what he did, he searched the world for acres of diamonds. He was looking for riches, and what he didn't realize was that the riches were in his own backyard. And I look at Twinsburg in that way. The riches that we might look for outside our community are seated in this room. We have excellent resources. I don't know what your backgrounds are. I know they're varied. But between us all, we have experiences that we can share within organizations within the city of Twinsburg. One that comes to my mind is the Twinsburg school system. It's an excellent institution. It has a rich history, but of course it faces some challenges, and one of those is financial. And I'm not asking for donations for the school system. In fact, I'm not speaking in their behalf. But what I want to get us, I want to get our mindset focused on the fact that we have valuable resources, whether they be as mentors or examples or possibly volunteers, what have you. Because seated in this room, I tell my audiences sometimes, it's particularly true today, seated in this room are people that are artistically appealing. They are beautifully bred, completely capable, divinely destined, extraordinarily endowed, and fairly fascinating, and generously gifted. Please give yourselves a round of applause. One of the things that I did for 36 years, 30 years as a full-time employee, and 6 years as a consultant, was I worked in a field for an organization, mostly in the field of technology. Most of the time I sat in a booth in the corner in the back in the dark. And it afforded me a good living, but it didn't afford me the life that I wanted. By good living, obviously I needed a paycheck. I did what was convenient. I did what I had the aptitude to do. I did what others were willing to pay for. Well, after a very long time doing those things and preparing myself and staying out of trouble, I decided to go beyond making a living. I decided to start making a life. And what I discovered was that one thing that I did not have an aptitude for was speaking and writing. My persuasive aptitude is in the 19th percentile. What that means is I should never speak, I should never write, I should never try to convince anybody of anything at any time. I developed a condition known as TDTKTICDWID. It stands for too dumb to know that I couldn't do what I was doing. So I went beyond what the statistics said about me. I've spoken around the world. My wife cautioned me. She said, you know, you shouldn't talk and display too much about yourself. People might think you're bragging. Well, my wife's always right. But the reality is, if you don't share something of yourself with other people, they don't know where you're coming from. They don't know what you have within you. They don't know what you have to offer. So on the one hand, I can share too much about myself, and people can say, once again, frankly, I don't care. And if I don't share enough, you wonder, why did they put him up there and tie up 15 minutes when I could be eating donuts and pastry, other pastry? So I'm walking that tightrope, but anyway, what I did is I brought material that I'll be giving you handouts before I relinquish the podium here. I want each of you to think in terms of, what can I do to become more active? What can I do to extend my legacy by committing to organizations and committing to each other? I'm sure the seniors here, I think when the mayor spoke, I overheard someone talking about, asking about, you know, registration or something like that. There are functions within this group that I'm sure these people could use help with if you decide not to volunteer for anything else. The Twinsburg school system, as I mentioned, the Twinsburg library, which in part was responsible for me going beyond my expectations because of the resources they provide. And I think we have at least one person here that put in a lot of time and effort at the library, and she still may be doing so. Twinsburg Rotary Club, they have good services. Twinsburg Toastmasters, if anybody is like I was with that 19% aptitude for speaking and writing, what the Toastmasters do is, if you're a part of it, for those of you that aren't familiar, they give you the platform to present yourself, and it truly can enhance whatever you do in life. Communication is important regardless of whether you consider yourself a communicator, a speaker, or you just want to talk somebody out of some of their money. You know, either way. Suppose you're retired and you said, you know, I've done enough for other people, I've done enough for organizations, I've done enough. I'm just going to sit here, I'm going to come to the meeting once a month or however often it occurs, I'm just going to eat donuts. Well, believing in yourself, taking that one step beyond, you can enhance your own personal life. In fact, being a part of any of these organizations, you can enhance your own personal life. You can't help but enhance your life. Because anytime you connect your uniqueness with the uniqueness and the power of other people, what you come out with is a result of synergism, which says that 1 + 1 is not equal to 2. I hope there's no math teachers here. But it's equal some portion greater than 2. Because what you do is you bring your ideas, you bring your passion, you bring your concerns, you bring your questioning attitude to the table with other people, and what comes out of that is a better byproduct than something that you could have done on your own and the other person could have done on their own. Like I said, I have information here. I'm not going to bore you with my history because the history is capitalized in the brochures. There are things that you can look at. I'm really open for questions and ideas about how we as seniors can take this community to even greater